jump into it. So welcome to Cherie's World. Today
Thank
we have Zollyann Howell in the house. And she is making boss baby moves. Can you tell us a little bit about Boss Baby Move?
Yeah, so the idea of creating Boss Babe Move is to just have a community for women, to have a group of other supportive women who are sort of wanting to go down the same path or doing the same things they're doing to push them to achieve their goals, achieve their dreams. And I sort of created Making Things Happen, which sort of evolved 2 years ago when I created a list of 30 goals I wanted to achieve before I turned 30. And I sort of journeyed that, wrote down a list of things that I wanted to accomplish before I became 30. And I included that in the Making Things Happen. It was sort of a way for me to inspire other women, to let them know, like, hey, it doesn't matter what other women are doing. You can also do those things despite whatever it is that may come in your way. I'm a mom of 3, so my life is extremely hectic, and I'm also a teacher. So in the midst of doing all of those things, a lot of times we get distracted and we sort of put ourselves on hold because we're so caught up taking care of other people. We kind of say, like, hey, now's not the right time, or I'm just going to put that dream off because I need to focus on taking care of my children, taking care of my husband, taking care of my family, or even being a teacher. Sometimes we're so busy doing other things for other people, we sort of forget about ourselves. So I wanted to inspire other women in that book to, like, hey, you have to take time to start supporting yourself despite whatever it is that you have going on. Because I've heard a lot of friends share stories with me like, hey, I have 2 kids, or I have a family now, or I'm a teacher now. I'm focused on that. I don't have time to like pursue my dreams. And I'm like big on that. I don't want me having children. I love my kids, but I don't want that to be my excuse for why I haven't achieved or accomplished any of my goals. And that's what I hear a lot of women share. And I don't want that to be my excuse. If I didn't achieve something, I want it to be my own reason why I didn't achieve it, and not use my kids as an accountability piece as to why I didn't achieve my goals. So that's just sort of how Boss Babe Move developed, and how my 30 before 30 goals developed, because I spent a lot of time in my 20s taking care of my kids. I wanted to make sure I achieved certain things before I hit a certain mark in my life.
Okay, so those of you who haven't been able to follow, Making Things Happen is her book. She is an author of several books and journals. Tell me, where can we find your book?
Yes, so you can, my books are all available on Amazon, and you can also purchase them from my website, bossbabemove.com. I published 2 children's books, Why Do You Love Yourself? And Why Should You Love Yourself? And being a teacher inspired me to create those. And I sort of shared it with my students, share it with anyone who have children. And that's sort of me teaching my kids, hey, go out, love yourself, do what you need to do. You're beautiful no matter what. And Making Things Happen is for my adults, for the women. And it comes with a journal called the Boss Chick Journal. And the journal is to help women discover their true passion and pursue their goals in life. So it helps you create business plans. It helps you discover what you're truly passionate about. And it also helps you plan strategically to achieve those goals that you want to set in your life.
Can you talk specifically about your boot camp?
Yes.
And specifically increasing sales through social media. You wrote that?
Yes. So the Entrepreneurs Bootcamp is for beginners like myself when I first started out. And there's a lot of information on the internet available to other people, but there's also a lot of people who, I don't want to say hoarding the information from people who want to achieve the same things they want to achieve, but it becomes really expensive when you're trying to achieve your goals. And me creating the bootcamp is having an affordable course, giving others the tools that they need for not only for an affordable price. The bootcamp is under $300, but I'm helping them complete all the steps that they need in order to achieve their business. We're going through the process in my book of discovering what you're passionate about, planning out the goals you want to achieve, and then taking it to the next level, creating your business. You'll be guided through all the steps you needed in order to help you identify what industry you want to be in, how you're going to go about starting it, creating your business name, creating your website, your logo, branding your business, marketing your business, all the materials that you'll need based on what industry you're in, of course. It comes with the business plan templates. It comes with 3 really great resources, I would like to say. And you mentioned the increasing your sales through social media. It comes with that resource. And that resource is something I publish just to help people market their social media. Instagram is something really big, and also Facebook. But a lot of people think, okay, I need to have all the social media platforms in order for me to have a successful business. But in the book, it lists exactly, based on the industry you're in, what platform best suits your business and how you can use that platform to market your business and achieve the sales that you wanted to achieve. And the information in that book is based on my journey, my process. I also have a candle business called Eco Gold Candles, and it's a very successful business, and it's sold out every time I release something new. And it's because I'm using specific strategies, because I'm targeting a specific audience. And that's the same thing for my books. And I'm sharing the tools that's needed to help other women or other young adults who want to go down that same path achieve the same success that I've achieved.
Because knowing your audience is the big thing. A lot of people
Yes,
don't know who their audience is. If you're a new entrepreneur, how do you figure out who your audience is?
Right. So there's Facebook is really great for that. There is a tool in Facebook that you can use to help you identify who's looking at your page, who's looking at your website, who's looking at your product. And then you can use that information you get from there to select which market you want to market in. Also in Instagram, there's a tool in there that you can use to see the insight, who's looking at your information, who's looking at your page, who's looking at your ads, and then use that information strategically to market your products. And that's something that we work through in our course. That is something that I shared in the increasing your sales through social media. So the information is all in there for others to use to help them achieve the same success.
Because I didn't know. Courtney actually told me that.
Yeah. And when I discovered it, I'm telling you guys, it changed my business. The coins were coming in. So I just want to give other women the same I wish I had when I first started out, and maybe it wouldn't have taken me 2 years, 3 years to achieve the success that I wanted to have if I had that information in the beginning. There are a lot of people I reached out to like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. And because they felt like it would be competition, they didn't share the information with me, or they sort of put me on the back hold, like, I'll get back to you, and never did. So I had to hustle to get where I am today. And I feel like as women, hey, we can all eat. So I'm going to give you this information. If you don't have the funds to get the information, I'll work with you the best I know how to help you get where you need to be, because that's what I wish someone did for me. So that's just part of what Boss Babe Move is and what I try my best to do. And sort of incorporating my book into that, the big idea behind everything that I'm doing and behind the book is that when you are brave enough to overcome like those fears. A lot of people told me, hey, you're a teacher, you have a great career, why are you trying to do all these other things? Because I want to, because this was something I wanted to do. This is something I have to achieve for myself. So being an educator, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use those funds that I'm getting from there and invest it in my own personal goals and sort of I had to develop the skill of self-confidence in order to begin to manifest all the things that like I wanted to achieve in life. And that is something that it didn't happen overnight, but I did it. So developing that skill of self-confidence is like extremely important when you want to become successful. When you want to become a successful entrepreneur, you have to have self-confidence. Like that is going to make or break you.
Absolutely. Self-confidence. So you're building self-confidence with your children's books.
Yes.
How old or what grade level are your books written in?
So So I have a 2-year-old, and I was a first grade teacher for over 2 years. So I work with ages. I've worked with ages 2 all the way up to 11-year-olds. And my book is catered mostly, I would say, read it to your newborn if you can. But my book is catered mostly from ages 2 to 9, because I feel like those are the ages where we really need to instill love into our children, especially our girls. If you're a mom of a girl only, if you're a mom of a boy only, it's important that we let them know, like, you are loved. You can do whatever it is you want to do. And a lot of times people tell us that, but we don't instill it in our own kids. We're out preaching it. Yes, our boys need to know they're loved. Our girls need to know they're beautiful, but we're not instilling it in them. We're not reminding them every day. So why not give them a book that they can look at every day? Okay, hey, go read this book to yourself and ask yourself, why should you love yourself? These are all things that this character in this book, these are reasons why the character is explaining why they should love themselves. Why should you love yourselves? And sort of have them make that connection, that personal connection as to why there are so many great things about themselves that they can enjoy, that they can love. So that's what really inspired me. And I share this book a lot with my students, and they're like, I love this so much. They're always in the book. I'm going to show you guys in the book. There are some activity pages. There are some coloring sheets, and it's sort of for them to sort of write, okay, why am I beautiful? Why am I successful? Why am I going to achieve these things? What do I want to be? And sort of use that as affirmations for themselves. They can hang it up in their room. It can be a great activity. So that's pretty much why I wrote these books. And just so my children, I'm all about longevity for my children. I grew up in a very tough community, and my mom was a single mom, and she had to do a lot to get me where I am today. And I not wanting my kids to work this hard, but I don't want them to have any limit to what they can achieve in life. So I want to make sure that I have the finance, I have the resources that they need. So whether it is they want to start a business, they want to be a doctor, they want to be a lawyer, whatever it is they want to do, they're able to do it, and we don't have to meet again and say, hey, pursue something else in life because you're not financially ready, or you can't achieve what you want to achieve because your credit is not where it needs to be, or because I can't support you. So I want to make sure that I'm established and I have the things I need to help my kids achieve the things they want to achieve, because that's just, again, like, as we're making things happen in other women, I want to make sure my kids have access to things I didn't have access to.
That's beautiful. That's what it's all about. Every generation getting better. I do want to ask you, you're an educator. I'm a homeschool mom. So I think that your book would be awesome. I'm definitely going to order both of them for my daughter, and it's going to be part of her health curriculum.
Oh, nice.
Especially since it has activities in there, because I think self-esteem in girls is a part of health.
It is.
Especially early on. But what I love is I preach to everybody, read to your kids, read to your kids.
Yes.
Children follow by example. So when you pick the book up for yourself, if they see mommy read,
yes,
it's cool for them to read, pick them up a book too, and maybe that's something that you guys can do together.
Yes, and that's something I encourage all my friends to do. Start a library for your child, an in-home library. A lot of times kids don't have access to the library. We don't visit the libraries often, but you don't need to do that. If you have a library at home and invest, there's a lot of websites out there that you get affordable books. The library gives out free books. I collect everything free. And I take it, I recycle it in my classroom. I recycle it for my kids. I have a 7-year-old, and he enjoys reading to the point where every week he's like, Mommy, I need a new book. I need this book. And that's because at the age that my daughter is now at 2, I was always reading to him. He didn't want to listen at times, but I would still sit there and read the book, flip through the pictures, make it fun. I would literally transform, get dressed up as other characters and celebrate different holidays, celebrate different things. And part of that was the educator in me, but I wanted my son to enjoy reading, because as a teacher, I know how kids not only struggle with reading, but they struggle because there wasn't a love for reading. So I wanted to make sure my kids enjoyed reading to the point where I won't have to say, go pick up that book. they're doing that on their own. So this book is sort of like a fun book that they can not only read, but they can do activities, they can color, and they can just, this is my book, okay?
And it doesn't have to be anything. Like, parents think that they have to go above and beyond to make things fancy. Literally, let me tell you, my daughter has a library in our house, right? The library is my linen closet. So I have my linen.
Creative.
She did it on her own. My linens are up high, and then down low we have like the comforter bags.
Oh,
kind of on the floor on the linen closet, and then she has a shelf, and the shelf kind of wraps around like this. I caught her in the closet one day reading. And when we moved here, she was 3, and she goes, "This is my perfect little reading spot." So I took all the stuff on the bottom shelf and made it into her own little personal library, and it's my linen closet. So if you can't find my kid in the house sometimes, or she's super quiet,
that's where she is.
Yeah.
Right. But that is something she enjoys doing. And that's the thing with a lot of parents. It can be anything. You don't have to have a lot of money to start a library at home. You don't have to have a lot of money to push your kids to read. When my son, his first library was literally in the corner of the wall. I went to the dollar store and I got the wall decals and I put it above it said reading corner. And we made a little wall in the corner and I had his books laid out. And then it advanced over the years, but that's how his library started. And he would grab a pillow off of his bed and sit in the corner of that room and read those books, and I'll sit there and read those books to him with a blanket. So make reading fun, make it comfortable. Don't make it something where I'm forcing you to read, or this is something serious. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, and of course your child will love reading.
I agree.
How has the COVID-19 or just being quarantined affected you, your business and your personal life, and what you've been doing over the past 8 weeks?
Yeah, so my personal life, because I am a teacher, I am now working remotely at home. So I'm no longer in the classroom, and it's really tough because I do miss my students that I work with every day. And I honestly feel they're not getting the same amount of instructional time they were getting in the classroom because kids learn differently. So not everyone can learn by me reading through a computer to them or answering multiple choice questions via a computer, especially the younger group. And also for my son and my daughter, they have completely lost out on that social experience they have with their friends. My 2-year-old, that's how she learns, by interacting with other kids, talking, playing, learning, sharing toys. So now it's just her and her brother. And a big part of that is me stepping in and being a student with them and not only teaching them. So like you, I'm also, now homeschooling both of my children, and it is fun, but that's how it has affected me. My children and I, we have been home, I think now almost 3 months since the COVID-19 had started. And it's something we're learning to get used to every day. And as far as my businesses, it started out a bit difficult. Customers had stopped purchasing for about 2 weeks straight. I didn't have any sales for my candle company. I didn't have any sales for books. And I sat down to myself, okay, what do I need to do? And again, I used those tools on Instagram. Who was still looking at my products? What were customers still looking at? And sort of related it back to their life. Okay, what are you experiencing? And how can my product help you get what you need during this time? And when I started to pitch that on my Instagram page for my candles, I sold out in 2 weeks because people are like, hey, I'm home. This makes sense. I'm going to go buy a candle. Use this time to relax. Use this time to read to my children. Use this time to take care of myself. And also included the little perks with it. And it sold out. And I also, for women, I expressed, okay, this is the time for you. You were complaining you didn't have time to achieve your goals. This is the time. You have more than enough time to focus on your goals, to work on the things you want to achieve during this time. If you were asking for some time, this is the time. So why not use this time, purchase the book, and start to plan and achieve all the things that you want to achieve. And then also my sales started to increase. It's not where I feel like it could be if COVID-19 didn't happen, but there are some people who do still support small businesses. There are some people, and I have a great friend customer base of people, loyal customers who always support anything that I publish, anything that I'm putting out in the public, and they'll refer it to their friends. So I think having a loyal group of customer base customers, you'll always have a sale, whether it's 1 sale a week, 2 sales a week. And I appreciate those small sales because those are the customers that I can always know I can count on.
Right. Absolutely. Go ahead, Courtney.
No, you know what? I'm just looking at the message you sent. You said that Cherie's World podcast has been such an influential platform. Explain, how is that?
Yes.
How was the podcast, man?
I came across your page. I'm always like on Instagram scrolling through, doing research, and I'm big on podcasts. I'm always listening to podcasts. There's a lot of information I get. I take notes a lot. I feel like there's always something new that I can learn from other women. And then I see that, okay, hey, she has a podcast. Let's go listen to what this is about, because that's what I've been spending a lot of my time doing. And the questions you were asking them, the way it was just it's just a comfortable atmosphere. And then I saw, hey, you're still out here working. I'm a Punky Brewster fan. And of course I'm a fan from Family Matters. And I was like, you've came up before. My sister is a big fan. She still watches Family Matters. And I came across your page like, hey, she's doing all these amazing things. And this is what women should be doing. It doesn't matter what you did in the past. It doesn't matter, what path you were on. You can always change your career, always change your life. And that was the conversation I had with one of my best girlfriends. Like, hey, she's on a different career path and she is successful. And that is what I'm trying to motivate other women to do. Like, you can be successful. It doesn't matter what your path is. I am a teacher and I'm venturing out on all these new things. And I am successful and you can be successful also. And I used, Cherie, I used you as an example when I had that conversation with my best friend. And she was like, wow, this is really great. She's out here, she's having this podcast. We're getting introduced to all these other characters that we love, that we haven't heard much from. So it was just something exciting for me. I was super excited. I was like, oh my God, I have to say thank you for this. So thank you.
That's so sweet. People get it twisted. For me personally, I get bored easy.
Yes, same here.
That Courtney has brought back a passion that I forgot that I even had by doing this podcast. And it gives me a chance to reconnect with people that I love, I like, people I want to know, women like you. I'm a big firm believer that we are stronger together than apart. Hey, yeah. I love that. I want to go back to mom, author, teacher.
Yes.
I'm obsessed. I'm a homeschooler. Completely obsessed. I'm a little disheartened by parents. Mm-hmm. They have their children home. Mm-hmm. Yes, I understand everybody wasn't prepared or have a passion to be a teacher. I hated school. And one of the reasons why I hated school is I didn't feel like I was challenged. Right. I only had one teacher that looked like me. And so I think it's awesome that little Black girls get to go to school and see themselves in you. Because I think that is very important. Representation matters. I don't care what anyone says. Representation in the classroom is uber important. But as parents, it's our job first to be our children's educators. Yes. So when you go on the internet and you see the plethora of parents complaining that they have to finish out the school year with their children, how does it make you feel? Because it hurts my feelings. I'm disappointed.
It hurts my feelings because a lot of times thank God I have a group of supportive parents who wants to be in their child's life and who are excited about the remote learning because I'm teaching them the tools they need to help them work with their kids at home. So shout out to my parents, they are that community. But I did see a lot of other parents complaining hey, what am I going to do with my child? Why does my child have to wake up so early and get all this remote learning done? And I saw a lot of that. And I sort of went on a Facebook rant about it. And in a positive light, sort of giving them tools that they need to help them be successful throughout that time, because this is the time now your child needs you. Your child is going to remember, hey, when this happened, I didn't have my teacher in the way I needed to, but I had my mom, I had my dad, I had whoever it was in my household to keep me on that educational like journey that I was on. And especially in kids that are in urban community, in the communities that I teach in, the dynamics of their family is different. They do depend on being in a classroom to get the things that they need to get. So of course it's not going to be the same, but this is where you step up. This is where you take charge and truly instilling your child, like learning is fun. You're getting to learn from home. Like, these are the things we're going to do. Incorporate. I told a lot of my friends, they were texting me like, they call me Miss Howell. So they're like, Miss Howell, what are we going to do? Like, I need you to come over here and teach my child. I cannot do that. I have to teach my own kids, but incorporate cooking. Every week I'm baking or mixing something with my kids, and use math while you're doing the cooking. Instead of your traditional reading, read different times in the day. Use the space around your house to transform that reading experience for your child. And if you're someone who your child needs to be completely structured, set a schedule. Your child was waking up to go to school every day from 8 to 3. So why can't they wake up at home to do those same things? Like, set a schedule, write that schedule out, put it up in the child's room. Like, hey, make this fun. We're going to get up tomorrow. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. So I sort of inspired them like, hey, whatever is comfortable for your child and for your child's learning, do that at home. So that your child can still truly enjoy learning. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of kids are now like, hey, I'm off the hook. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I can wake up and do whatever I need to do. But I always tell my son, like, this is important. You're at home, but you still need to be learning. So I'll make sure I hold myself accountable as the parent to wake him up when he needs to log in to get his work done. And when he's done, I'm going to make sure that you're still reading. You're still having those 15, 30 minutes that you need to read. It doesn't have to be in the morning or at a specific time, but before the day is over, before your bedtime, you need to make sure that you're completing all these things that you would have been doing in your classroom. This is not a free vacation. You can have fun times after that is done, and that's what we do. We'll take 5-10 minute breaks, and we'll do fun stuff, but you still need to make sure you're doing your schoolwork, because that's still important. That is going to get you to where I am today.
I mean, I just came back from, I told my wife, I said, you know what, you working from home, I'm not really working right now, so I'm going to, teach the kids. And I had the curriculum. Actually, Cherie gave me a curriculum too. And so I said, I'm going to teach the kids. You don't worry about it. She was like, you going to teach? I said, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. So what I realized is I got played quickly. So my daughter, no problem. She got up like it was normal. The girls. She got up, boom. She was done in 2 hours, whole school. Now, my sons, on the other hand, I get up and I'm like, all right, y'all go in there. So I turn the TV on. I'm watching TV first. Then I say, all right, let me go ahead and fix this food first. Then I say, y'all read them books. So then I get done fixing the food and I go back over there and I say, where we at from yesterday and all this. So my whole school process, and then I say, let's go out and have recess. Let's go play some basketball. So my whole school process with them will start like roughly around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and wouldn't finish till about 8 o'clock at night with the two boys.
Intense.
Now but no, it wasn't intense. I was, fucking messing around. But my wife told me, I go back to work after the quarantine. She hit me 11:30 text said, oh yeah, the kids are done with school. I said, wait a minute. How are you able to get their school done? She said, because they know you're going to play with them all day and give them leeway and go recess and all that kind of stuff. Women get the shit done. Like, we
do. We don't play. And the kids know it. They know.
They know it.
We literally only do school every day, probably for an hour and maybe a half. And she takes breaks because she's 5, but she's in 3rd grade. Wow. She takes breaks in between and she'll tell you, I'm done. I can't do no more. I need a break. And she'll take her own break and walk away.
So imagine how bad I feel, Cherie. So my wife was able to work, teach 3 kids, and be done before lunch.
Yeah.
And I had nothing to do, and I went and finished about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Tell me that you had them kids doing school till 7 to 8 o'clock at night, Courtney?
Because and the only reason why it took that long, because she was like, did y'all do that last part? I'm like, oh, no, we didn't. Come on, let's go back in the other room. Let's finish. I tried. I gave an effort. I wouldn't.
That is hilarious because just yesterday, my son, I had to submit all of his packets to his teacher, and something told me, hey, you were working with dad yesterday. Can I just double check this packet? And only the first and the last page was completed, and that's because he knows, like, dad is going to let him play his game and do whatever he needs to do, but mom is going to sit here, go through, did you do this correctly? Is this completed? So when he was walking over to me, he was like, Dad checked it already. It's good. You can put it away. And I was like, no, I'm going to check it. And when I opened it, only the first page and the last page was completed. And I was like,
me too.
Him.
But they got a lot of PE in, right?
We got a lot of PE.
They were enjoying having a grand day, but his work wasn't done.
We got a lot of PE done.
Thing within these 3 houses. Yeah, it's done in my house too.
The moms get the job done. We get the job done.
Man.
That is hilarious. Now, you talked about your boot camps. Courtney brought it up. Where are you located if somebody wanted to join one of your boot camps? How?
So it is completely virtual. And the way it's set up, it will be a portal where you can get access to all the information and work based on your time. But I will be available to work with you one-on-one to guide you through certain parts. So as I mentioned, the boot camp is completely remote. There is a hub where you will have access to all of the resources, the books, the templates that you need in order to help guide you on achieving your business. But I will be there to coach you through the entire process, to help work with you through certain process when it comes to creating your website, creating your marketing materials, or just to be a second person, a mentor, I should say. If you're confused about anything, if you have questions about anything, I will be there live to help guide you through certain steps of the process. But a lot of it is independent work. So you're going through the process based off your time to help get you where you need to be. And the reason for that is because someone might be interested in a different industry than someone else. So your process up to what you're going to achieve is going to be different. So I'm just there to guide you through based on whatever that difference is.
That's awesome that you're there. And how do they contact you? Is it like through email? Yes.
So if you go on my website, bossbabemove.com, there is a direct link there to click on the bootcamp to register for it. And what it will do is send you, based on the time and the day that you selected, it will send you a Zoom registration confirmation. And that will be our introduction call, where I go through what it is you want to accomplish, what are some things you're going to do, and sort of create a plan for you to achieve those goals. And then you can begin the course in order, based on what we plan, you can then start that process. So that is the first step. And then we'll check in every 3, depending on which option you select, because there's 2 different options, the longer version and then the week-long version. So based on the option you select, we will schedule those check-in calls, and I'll be checking in with you, revisiting your plan, see what it is that you have accomplished or what we need to redo, because that's all part of being an entrepreneur. Things change, and you need to adjust your plan. You need to adjust your goal in order to help you achieve what it is that you want to achieve.
So it's all private. So it's not like a class full of people. I have you all to myself.
Yes, you have me all to yourself, even though several people can register to take the class. It is private. Once you begin that journey, your access to me when you need me will be private. It wouldn't be a hub where it's like 10 people trying to get to me and asking me questions at the same time. I will be personally working with you one-on-one to help you achieve those things.
I like that, because I've tried to take some of these webinars.
They're difficult.
Like I'm bored, I'm typing, nobody ever talks back to me.
Right.
I'm like, what am I doing?
I've experienced the same thing. I was like, okay, I have this question that I actually need to be answered right now in order for me to move on to the next step, but I have to send you an email and then you'll respond back to me, and then my thought process changes, and I might either forget what I want to do or how I wanted to do it. So certain steps of the bootcamp, I'm there live working with you in order to help you get that step done.
Major. I'm sorry, Courtney. You look like you was going to the mic. And
No, I saw that you said you had a list of things you wanted to accomplish before you turned 30. How important do you feel about you can say women, but people in general, having a list of goals they want to achieve before a certain age or a certain time in their life. And then, like, what was it, those goals for yourself and personally? Like, was marriage part of that, kids, or is it just all business goals?
Right. No, it was personal goals, business goals, spiritual goals for me. And my motto is always progress over completion. So I didn't achieve all of the goals that I said. I didn't achieve all 30. Some of it I did accomplish, and some of it was finding myself spiritually and connecting more with my spirituality. And I made sure that I took the strategic steps I needed to in order to make that happen. And some of the goals, it took longer to achieve than others, which is why I wasn't able to accomplish all of them. Some of the goals included traveling to a country on my bucket list, spending specific time with a family member. There were some goals on my list that was really simple, and there were some that were more complex, as far as writing a book and creating a journal. And my favorite goal on the list was the children's book. So that was definitely one of the goals on the list. And I worked relentlessly to make sure, like, I need to get this done. I need to create this manuscript. I need to get this published before I become 30. Like, I prioritized some of the goals on that list. And the ones that I didn't achieve, it's okay. I'll include it on my 40 before 40 goals. And I always encourage women, set goals for yourself. Like, you need to create that mindset in order to help you become successful. And it doesn't have to be you wanted to start a business to be successful in life. Like, our goals are all different. But if there's something that you've always wanted to do in life, if you don't set a goal for it and take those steps to help you achieve the goal, then you're not going to get anywhere. And being a teacher, that was instilled into me. I wasn't always like this. I was, okay, here's my vision board. It's cute. I'm going to put all these things done that I wanted on it. But when I started to take those steps to strategically plan out how I was going to get it done and revisited those steps and took accountability, like, I'm not doing what I need to do, so I'm not going to get where I need to be, then I started to see those changes happen in my life. And part of that was personal goals. So, for example, my partner is my high school sweetheart, but because we were so comfortable being together, marriage wasn't a thing, like, it wasn't a conversation. So I made sure I included that on my 30 before 30 goals, but I didn't just put it on the list. I had a conversation with him, like, this is what I wanted to do. This is where I need to be a certain part in my life. And these are the steps we need to take if we want to continue this relationship. We have children, we have our home, we have all these other things, but this should be the next step. And when I decided to have that conversation, checked it off my list, like, I had the conversation, let's see what happened. I'm now a fiance.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So when you take those strategic steps that you need to, and you're serious about those goals, you can achieve those things. I would never to this day think that I would be a published author, that people would be emailing me and seeking advice. I wouldn't think to this day that I would be selling candles, or that I would even be a teacher, because when I first started out, that wasn't my goal. But because I created a list of things that I wanted to achieve and I took those steps to achieve it, I'm big on that. Like, my friends are always like, what are you doing now? How are you finding the time? You have 3 kids, you're teaching, and you're doing these things. Yes, because I make sure I take certain steps and I take time to work on things for myself. And a lot of that is waking up early in the morning and doing certain things before the kids wake up in the house and before it gets crazy. I'll wake up at 5:30. It was difficult at first, but now I'm used to it. But I will wake up at 5:30 every single morning to make sure that I have that hour of silence that I need to get things done, either around the home or to work on something for one of my businesses, because that's important to me. So I need to make sure I'm taking that step to get that done. And also, I'm checking in with myself and holding myself accountable. This goal wasn't achieved. Why wasn't this goal achieved? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to change about my habit, about my lifestyle in order to achieve or accomplish this thing that I'm so passionate about? And that's what I feel like hold a lot of us back. we're writing our goals down, we're doing that step, but we're not being intentional about the steps that we need to take to achieve those goals. And that's where failure happens, I should say, because of that.
That's real. You know, every successful person that I know writes goals down.
Yeah.
It's something that Courtney was laughing about me at the beginning of the year. Every New Year's, people always say, well, what are you going to do? You know, what are you giving up New Year's? I'm not giving up anything, but what I will do every single year is that first day or the day prior, I sit down and I write a list of goals that I want to accomplish before the end of the year. And sometimes I read the list over and over again, and sometimes I step away from it for a couple months, and I step away and I come back and I'm like, wow, I get to check. I did this.
That is the best feeling ever when you're checking those goals off. You're like, oh, I did this. Okay. And when I was in college, I went on a retreat. It was a spiritual retreat, but because I was so young, I didn't take it serious. But I did walk away with one thing. The instructor of the retreat had us write a letter to ourselves of what we wanted to achieve, or just where we want to see ourselves when we graduated college. And that was the goal of the letter. And he told us to put a date on it and do not open it until that date came, or unless you desperately needed to motivate yourself to finish whatever it is that you wrote in that letter. And I took that with me, and that's what I use in my life to help me sort of accomplish my goals, I should say. I always write a letter to myself, and I'll put it in an envelope, put it far away in my closet, and then it's fun for me to go back 6 months later, a year later, and sometimes I'll write it, and I'm like, it's a month later, I am stressed, I need something to motivate me. I'm going to go open this letter I wrote to myself to see exactly where I wanted to be in life. And that letter sort of like pushes me and motivated me. You wrote this down, and you've accomplished some things that you wrote in this letter, and you can keep going. And I encourage every woman, write a letter to yourself, put it in an envelope, put it away, and use that as your motivation, because a lot of times we don't have people that we can go to talk about certain things. And sometimes there's some things we don't want to share with other people just yet until we're comfortable or until we feel like we can. And I use that letter as part of my check-in process to help me just support myself. And it's been something that I enjoy doing, and it's been something that's very helpful for me. Like my letter to myself, they're amazing, and I don't keep them. When sometimes I toss it out and I write a new letter, like, hey, yeah, I don't keep them because I don't want to like go back and reread the old letters. It's all about like progressing. So in the new letter, I would write, these are the things that you have done, and this is where you want to be. And these are the things you need to do in order to achieve it, and check in with yourself on this day. And I'll put a date on it, tape it up, put it away. And it's amazing. Sometimes I'll forget the date that I put on it to open it, and I'll go through my closet if I'm cleaning, like, oh my God, I forgot to open my letter. And then like you mentioned earlier, like seeing those goals and knowing that you've checked them off, like it's the best feeling ever. And a lot of times my friends are like, how are you doing this? What are you doing? I've written my goals down. I feel like I'm doing this. I'm holding myself accountable. Like, this is my baby. Okay. I'm going to make sure I still take care of my children and my family, but I'm going to make sure I do what I need to do to get myself where I need to get myself. I don't want to ever leave this earth feeling like I haven't accomplished the things that I wanted to in life, or that I'm unpleased with where I am in life. And I've never felt like that before, because I appreciate even the smallest goal that it is that I've worked on and achieved, whether it was learning how to like tie-dye a pants or tie-dye a shirt, or even bake. For me, it was baking lasagna. So like even simple things like that, like I appreciate, and that's something I just always push women to do.
I heard that that's the goal to success.
It is.
Like,
it is.
To appreciate exactly where you are right now. And if you appreciate the life that you're living right at this moment, no matter what it is or where it is, if you're watching this, you got internet.
Exactly.
There are people out there that don't have internet. So take a moment and appreciate it. And when you appreciate it, you put that out into the universe, it comes back in abundance.
It really do. Like, appreciate your progress. in life. And you'll see a lot of major things started to happen when you start to appreciate that.
Yeah. So what you're basically saying is accountability and manifestation, because writing your goals down is part of self-manifesting what you want, and then holding yourself accountable.
Yes. And those are the two biggest steps in order to help you achieve the things that you want to achieve. Without that, it's not possible. If you don't write your goal down, how can you possibly go back and check in with yourself to see what it is that you wanted to accomplish, or if you've done the things that you needed to in order to accomplish that goal? Writing things down is extremely important. I'm not a fan of a daily to-do list because I have sticky notes listed everywhere, but I do have that priority list of things that I need to get done to help me like maneuver through my life. So writing things down is extremely, I can't stress that, it is extremely important, and taking accountability of your actions is extremely important. They're coming inside from the pool. So my room is the first room they have to pass.
I love them because he crossed that whole room in 2 steps. He said, bloop, bloop, and he was out.
He loves Spider-Man. So a lot of the times he thinks he's Spider-Man. So he'll be launching from places that I didn't think kids can be.
Oh, my son did the same thing.
One step in the dresser.
He's like, I don't want her to see me. I'm going to be quick.
Next step, he was out the door. I love it.
Oh my god, we're gonna have a serious. I had to sit down with everyone.
No, this is what moms need to see though, because mom is still grinding. This is nothing but marketing and PR what you're doing, and you're doing it with your family in the background, and you are not missing a beat or taking. This is what moms do.
Yeah. Fun fact, I have a 7-month-old. So a lot of the times when I am working online, she is right here in my lap. She's sleeping now, but she is right here in my lap while I'm working and getting these things done. It's all about learning to work with what you have and sort of working through your own dynamic. And a lot of times, you know, parents are like, I have 2 kids. I have a kid. I have a baby. I can't do this. I can't do that. Make it happen. Okay.
Yes, children are not handicapped.
And a lot of times I learn from them.
And her children are running through, but they got smiles on their face.
They are.
I love it personally because that's my life.
And funny story about my son, because he sees me, I'm always like, boss babe this, boss babe that. This is everywhere. I'm writing this book. I'm working with those things. And I share it with my children. I'm never like, mommy's working right now, don't come in the room, or I can't tell this with you. I talk to my 7-year-old like, so I'm writing this book. What do you think? And a lot of times he's like, oh, that's so cool, mommy. You should put this in your book, or you should do this. And a lot of times when I am creating, whether it is a logo or like graphics for the things that I publish, I'm like, hey, Zaire, what do you think about it? He's like, I don't like this. And then I'll sit back like, and then it'll make me change my thinking. So I allow them to be in my creative space. Sometimes you do need to, you know, work alone, but I do allow them to be in my creative space because that's part of my life. Like I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for you guys running around. I wouldn't want to achieve these things so bad if you weren't a part of it. So I allow it.
You have a free board of directors because
I do.
Kids know what's good, what's not good, what's catching of the eye, what's not.
They do.
Yes, you got a board of directors. Use everybody you have around you, and they take pride in that.
They support you. Anytime I have a package, when I'm making my candles or when the proofs for my books came, he was more excited than I was. He's like, Mommy, it's here. Let's see. He's like, okay, let's read it. Oh my God, look at the picture. This is you. He was more excited than I am, and that made me feel good. Like if anyone else doesn't appreciate it, the person who I am doing it for appreciates it. So even if 1,000 people don't buy my book, my son still saw me accomplish this goal, and he still saw me do it. And that's better than having 1 million people purchase my book, because my son was able to see the process of me doing it, and I can do it too because my mom did it.
Absolutely. And kids watch. They watch you more than they listen to you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They do.
No, you know what? I'm just curious. I'm learning what kind of mother you are, what type of businesswoman you are. What type of wife are you?
The best. The type of wife I am is I want the same things that you want for yourself. I'm not going to push you to change, but if my life is changed, I'm pushing you to have goals for yourself as well. So I'm always pushing my fiance like, hey, I'm always sitting here planning goals and you're always supporting me, but what do you want to do? How can I support you? I know this wasn't the end and be all for you. So what do you want to do? And I'll make sure, even sometimes he don't want to sit and talk about, he's like, what? I'm going to sit and talk about that. I'll push him like, no, this is the time we're going to have for ourselves. Where do we want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now? This is what I want to do. What do you want to do? And something big that I had to push him to do was also find his spirituality, because that's something I wanted in a partner. So if this is not what you want, let me know now. But if I didn't have that conversation, I wouldn't have known, like, he wanted the same things also. He just didn't know how to approach it or have that conversation with me because we were young. So part of that is being honest and expressing how I feel, even though at times I get on his nerve or he'll like, okay, but I'm like, I said how I feel, so you know how I feel. So what do we need to do next? And I'm always, don't be shy, say how you feel. Closed mouths don't get fed. And I use that at everything in my life. Every single thing, closed mouths do not get fed. So if I want you to treat me a certain way, if I want us to achieve certain things together and I'm not saying it, I can't hold you accountable for not being where I want you to be as a partner. I have to speak up. If you're doing something wrong, I'm going to say it. Okay? And that is something he appreciates about me, because he opened up a bit more. So now he'll check in with me like, okay, and men, you guys have a hard time apologizing.
No.
You'll give us roses and candy, but you won't say the actual words like, I apologize, and this is what I apologize for.
Oh, you asked for too much now. You asked for too much.
Exactly. And that is something I see him start to gradually do. He'll check himself. I won't have to check him about something he did that he knew wasn't right, or maybe he wasn't aware of. He'll say like, hey, I apologize. It wasn't the right thing to do. And we'll keep it moving. I'll take that with the flowers and candy.
Yes.
You guys have a hard time apologizing.
That's accountability.
It is.
It's like, you know what? Okay, she know I messed up. Here, let me shut her up for a minute, but they don't want to be accountable for what.
Right. Like, okay, you're giving me these flowers and you're giving me this card, but do you really truly understood why I was upset? And that's something that I need to make sure that you know, so that you don't do it again. And my grandmother always taught me that. She was like, if you're telling someone that something's bothering you and they're not changing it, then they don't care. And I grew up an only child, so a lot of times I try to like get friends from the wrong crowd. And that was what she would always say to me. You're telling these girls how you feel, and they're not changing or they're not adjusting, then they don't care about you and you don't need to be friends with them. And I took that and applied it to all areas of my life. Whether it was professional or personal, if I am expressing to you how I feel and you can't meet me halfway, then you truly don't respect how I feel, because you're not willing to make that adjustment.
I can't say nothing. I ain't got no wife. I don't know.
I don't argue with women. I learned that. I've been married over 10 years.
Like, I'm not going to argue.
I don't argue at all.
That is the best way to go about it.
Yep.
That is really cute. Our time is dwindling down with you. What else do you want the audience to know?
Just achieve your goals. Write those goals down. Take action and support yourself. And I say this a lot, only look up to people who have achieved the things you wanted to achieve in life. Do not sit here and take advice from other people who are not passionate about what you're passionate about, because a lot of times people tend to diminish you away from your goals and your dreams. So only take advice or seek information from people who have what you want to achieve, which is why I landed on your page, Cherie, because I'm always looking into other women who've accomplished some of the same things I want to accomplish. And that's where I get a lot of my information from and a lot of my motivation from. So that's what I would say to a lot of people out there. Take information and advice from people who have accomplished what you want to accomplish in life, and always support yourself. If you don't support yourself, do not expect anyone else to support you, because people support what they see you're passionate about, regardless of how big or small, how small it is. So that's just one of the big things. And also grab a copy of my book on bossbabemove.com. And
hold it up. You got the book?
There's several. It's
okay, so will you do?
Well, guys, thank you so much for this opportunity. Cherie, it's an honor to have this opportunity to chat with you. You are such a humble and inspirational person. So I am so excited and happy that I've gotten this opportunity to chat with a mentor, I should say, or someone who I've watched for so long. Just listen and hear me out. This was truly an amazing opportunity. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Courtney, because he created
it.
Where's your sister at? Go get your sister. She called back. You ain't gotta hide no more. Come on up in this camera so we can see.
I was just in the corner being nosy.
Aren't you proud of your sister? She did.
I am. She did amazing. I was just waiting for her to click it off so I can go in here.
No, wait. Let's all say yes.
Can I just shout my sisters out? I have the most important sisters, whatever it is I'm doing. And I'm like, hey guys, read this for me. Whatever it is I'm doing, they're always, oh, there she is. This is the one. This is the main one. Come say hi.
Oh, she done took her hair down for me. Hey, boo.
I got a call and I was like, how do I get out without being seen? Sorry.
And they are the most supportive group of sisters. They're always the first to buy anything it is that I'm doing, to say, hey, since I supported you, I made the first purchase, and they'll buy everything. I'm like, I will give it to you for free. But they still go out.
In, baby. You ain't gotta hide. Come on.
But they're super supportive, and they are, let me tell you, my sister was here like, you gotta brush your hair. Oh, let me fix your eyebrows, because I'm not a girly girl. So she was like hooking my face up. She's like,
come on, anytime, boo. You can come in.
It's like 12 of them in here.
So this is the 2-year-old.
Okay, wait. Are we allowed to show her to strangers?
Yes, you can show her.
I gotta ask.
Say hi. Say hello.
My daughter has pink beads in her hair too.
She loves it. She's always like shaking it, enjoying it, right?
I love it. That's part of like.
But that is the team. This is the team that everything runs through.
Beautiful, strong women. I love it, and I love the fact that they're supportive. Because, my good friends don't buy my stuff. So.
But thank you guys so much for this opportunity. Rodney, you are the MVP. Thank you.
Courtney.
Courtney, sorry.
I was like, who's Rodney?
I didn't know either. I was like, is that her husband's name?
I thought Rodney was coming from the back or something.
See what happens when you're excited?
Well, thank you so much. It was fun.
Thank you, Courtney.
You're adorable, little mamas.
Say thank you. She is super shy. Super shy.
Beautiful. Hey, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is the official Cherie Johnson. That way you never miss one of our Cherie's World podcasts.